Leadership Academy. My name is Pete Ockuly. I am the lead instructor at the Leadership Academy. The Leadership Academy is a company that researches and disseminates the most effective information and strategies that can be used to bring people together for some kind of common cause. I've been working with your activities director, Mr. Herman, for the last few years on helping the leaders in your school grow and develop as leaders, and this year it's your turn. This video is intended to inform you about what you may have missed on the opening meeting on July 25th when many of the student leaders gathered at the district office to kick off what I hope will be a great growth experience for you and for them this year. It can also be a reminder for those of you who were at the meeting of the things that we talked about that day. Mr. Herman will send out an assignment, if he hasn't already, on Google Classroom that will give you all the information that you need to get yourself caught up. When you're done watching this video, you should go to classroom.google.com and register for the Leadership Academy class using the code T7F1IJN. And that will be at the end of this video too, so you can just pick it up then. There's plenty of video that day too, and so feel free to watch as much of that as you can. You can find those links on that first Google Classroom assignment. Some of that video, the sound quality is not all that great, and the video itself is a little choppy, but hopefully you'll get an idea of what you missed that day. And the other thing that will be there will be access to the PowerPoints that the presenters use that day to try to facilitate those discussions. So feel free to look through those as well. Also, when you get a chance, you should stop in and see Mr. Herman in the activities office on the South Campus as soon as you get a chance, so that you can get a workbook. You'll need to walk yourself through the first 2 sessions on your own. Now these sessions each take a little bit of time, so you want to get that workbook as quickly as you can and start working on those first 2 sessions just ASAP. Your next meeting with Mr. Herman is August 25th, and you'll need to have both of those assignments done by the time you get there on the 25th. But since you weren't there, let me walk you through what you missed that day. The first thing we talked about that day was the idea of goal setting and prioritizing. This is actually session 2 in your workbook. We did it a little out of order for a reason, but again, take a look at the workbook for the specifics. We actually started that discussion with a game between 2 young men who were looking for a $5 bill. One of the young men knew exactly where that bill was, and the other one had no idea, and we laughed a little bit, but it reminds us that things get a little simpler when you know where you're going. So check out that video if you get a chance. So we talked about the importance of having a goal, and having a plan, and taking action. I sometimes call that the GPA method: goal, plan, action. But I would add a second A, and that is for adjustment. Sometimes we need to make adjustments along the way. Think about what it would be like if you were going to take, maybe a driving trip somewhere, say down to Disney World. And of course, you can't just get into your car and point your car southeast and just start driving to Disney World. That's not going to work. You're going to have to go around a lot of things and make adjustments. So, Disney World would be the goal. The plan would be kind of like your map of how you're going to get there and what roads you're going to take. Then, of course, you have to put gas in your car, put your foot on the pedal, and drive down to Disneyland. Of course, taking a left till you don't run into that mailbox, and taking a right so you don't go into that lake. Those are the adjustments that you make along the way. So we talked about what it takes to get to where you want to go in life. So as you go through the workbook, you'll kind of walk through a few exercises, and it'll actually ask you to check out a couple of things online. And then at the end of that session, it asks you to create a meeting with some of the members of your team or group and look at your plan. Look at where you want to go and how you plan on getting there. So again, check out that workbook to get a better idea of all of the things you should be doing. After lunch, we talked about the concept of locus of control. This is really what session 1 from the workbook is all about. It's about taking charge of your own attitude and helping other people take charge of their attitude. So for example, if I were to ask you to raise your right hand, you could do that easily, I'm guessing. But if I asked you to just kind of, relax and go limp so that I could pick up your right hand and hold it above your head, I'm sure you could do that too. One of these actions is taken by you. You internally control the motion of your hand. The other is controlled by me. The location of control, in that case, would be external. This is what's meant by locus of control. It's the location of control. And leaders typically believe that many, and maybe even most of the events and circumstances in their life are controlled by their actions. They have what social scientists refer to as an internal locus of control, meaning they believe that the things in their life are controlled internally. We also know that you can develop an internal locus of control through practice. And this might be a useful thing for you, but it might be also a useful thing for you to help other people who don't believe that they are going to win, or they are going to perform at a high level, or it's worth it to put themselves through the process because the outcome will be worth it. So there are a few exercises and things for you to read about how to develop that internal locus of control in the workbook. And again, these things need to be done by August 25th. Then we had another speaker, Adam Herman, the Director of Sports Performance at Boise State University, spoke to us about the importance of focusing on what he calls the process. The process is a word that he uses to kind of describe all that it takes to have success in life. And Adam reminded us of a lot of stuff, and some of the clips of his talk are linked up on the Google Classroom assignment. His PowerPoint is also available there. But he talked about a lot of things, including what the process was, what are the things we have control of, like, we can control our attitude and effort and those kinds of things. And we can't control other things. We can't control weather or officials or injuries or things like that. And what we need to focus on is the things that we can control. That's controlling the process, at least to the extent that we can. One of my favorite quotes, and probably the most impactful quote that I took away from Adam's talk, was from an author named Jim Lohr. And Jim says, people never want to be part of the process, but they want to be part of the outcome. But the process is where you figure out who's worth being part of the outcome. That's such an impactful quote, and it reminds us of all that goes into success. You as a leader can help keep people on track by reminding them that the energy and effort that they are expending is just part of the process, and we need to focus on the process. So, to sum it all up, of the 3 things you absolutely need to do as quickly as you can, number 1 would be go see Mr. Herman as soon as you can to get a workbook. He'll be available in the activities office on the South Campus. I would do that as quickly as you can. Also, do sections 1 and 2 in the workbook before August 25th. That's your next meeting with Mr. Herman. There's quite a bit to do in both of those sections. So you want to get to work on that right now. And then thirdly, make sure as soon as you're done watching this video, go sign up for the Google Classroom at classroom.google.com. And your code for that would be T7F1IJN. So you want to do that as quickly as you can. So, in summary, remember to focus on the process of winning rather than focusing on the result of winning. A win is a great thrill for a moment, but going through the process pays out for the rest of your life. And as you're going through this stuff, feel free to email me with questions or comments or concerns or ideas. My email is petertheleader, petertheleader at Q, just the letter Q.com. So if any of it seems overwhelming, just, send me an email, let me walk you through a couple things. Also, if it seems overwhelming, just remember a couple of things. First of all, you were put into this leadership role for a reason. Somebody out there sees that you have the potential to be a leader. So you're here for a reason. Just continue to do the things that you've always done. And just remember to be the kind of leader that you would follow, right? Like, who are the people who impact you in your life? And just be like that. I like to sometimes say, be worth following.